OC. They're usually like gamers, they're like into anime low-key. They've probably watched at least one shonen anime that really touched their hearts and got them into anime forever. But they're not going to be the type of anime fan that's like so deep in it that they're like watching all of the new season or whatever. They're just sort of like casually interested in it, and that ended up being the style that they like to draw in. And they definitely try to downplay how much they like their OC and how much they actually care about the storyline and stuff by just acting like she's cute or whatever. But secretly, they actually really care about their character, and I think that that's really sweet. Last up for this video, at least, I want to talk about the quote-unquote self-insert OC. This isn't like a true self-insert. I guess a real self-insert would have to be in like sort of a longer piece of fiction, but this is more about the like pseudo-persona that's like not exactly the artist, but is also
I guess it was a childhood dream to be a farmer, but it wasn't until I actually was in law school and decided I needed something kind of like release some stress, and I started gardening.
more about the like pseudo persona that's like not exactly the artist, but is also kind of the artist, if that makes sense. Um, so basically, this is the type of OC that's like kind of like an idealized version of the artist. They're usually like more outgoing and more confident than the artists themselves, and usually they just have sort of like an exaggerated sort of image to the one that the artist actually puts out there. So, for example, if the artist has a stripe of colored hair or something in their hair, their character will probably have their whole head uniformly dyed that color, or some sort of like more committal version of that like cosmetic change. Usually these characters are like, yeah, just generally more idealized versions of the artist, so they could be like taller or whatever beauty standard the artist feels like they're not sort of reaching up to, their character will rise to meet that. And honestly, I feel like these types of characters get such a bad rap. Honestly, I don't get it. I think that they're really interesting, and I think that they tell you a lot. They communicate a lot about the artists themselves and how they feel. So I think that as art, it really works. But I digress. So the type of person who usually has this sort of OC, a lot of like internet creators have these sorts of OCs, and also just people who feel like in some small way that they're not measuring up, which is always really sad because these are usually people who actually have a lot going for them, but they just don't have the confidence to really know that about themselves. They usually have very rich imaginations. They probably imagine entire like scenarios and music videos every time they listen to music by themselves, and generally they're just really wholesome and cute. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Again, this is just for fun. It's not meant to be a critique of anybody. But let me know 3 facts about your OC. I love hearing about your guys' creations and everything. I think that like characters are the